game for pay-to-play platform. Centre pulls the plug on real money gaming.
Very strict action on the online money game, which is almost spreading like drugs in the society.
Addiction, laundering and fraud alert.
Wherever the choice is between middle class and a segment of the industry, the welfare of the middle class has to be seen.
The cleanup that changes everything. Man driving the sweeping change speaks to India today. IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw exclusive on NewsTrack.
Good evening. Tonight on NewsTrack, we are talking about two games. We have the Union IT Minister on the show explaining the rationale behind this bill. But first, cricket, the gentleman's game. The Sports Ministry has finally broken its silence on the ongoing controversy over the Asia Cup fixture with Pakistan. But outlining a comprehensive policy on cricketing ties with its neighbour, the statement reads, and I quote, "Insofar as bilateral sports events in each other's country are concerned, Indian teams will not be participating in competitions in Pakistan, nor will we permit Pakistani teams to play in India. But when it comes to international sports bodies and the interest of our own sports persons, it is also relevant to take into account India's emergence as a credible venue to host international sports events. Accordingly, Indian teams and individual players will take part in international events that also have teams or players from Pakistan." To break this down further, I am being joined by our consulting editor, Nikhil Naz. Nikhil, is this essentially the status quo now, officially formalized as a sporting policy, since we have not had bilateral ties with them for over a decade now?
Marya, yes. I mean, there were two steps that were taken before this. We had the announcement of the Asia Cup a few days ago. But yet we did not know 100% if the India-Pakistan game will go ahead. Then there was the announcement of the Asia Cup team, yet you hadn't heard from the government. So anyone who thought that maybe still there could be a U-turn, maybe there will be no India-Pakistan game, keeping in mind what the government's approach has been with our neighbors, you thought there could still be a situation where that game may not go ahead on the 14th of September. But now that the Sports Ministry has come up with a document where they've shared their vision as far as their relationship with Pakistan is going to be concerned going forward, it pretty much confirms that India and Pakistan will be playing against each other at the Asia Cup. To break it down, what they've done in 3 points. One, they've said that, listen, no bilateral ties between India and Pakistan, no question about it. But that's been the case, Marya, for the last decade or so. So nothing changes there. The other thing they say is that we will continue playing against each other in multilateral as well as international tournaments. Now, this is also a stance that India has had for the last decade or so when there was no bilateral ties. However, this time what they've gone on to say, and this is a sort of an explanation that has come from, and the other thing they've said is that Pakistan teams will be allowed to come to India and participate in any tournament that's multilateral as well as an international tournament. That again remains the same sort of a scenario which was there before Operation Sindoor, which was there before Pahalgam. The only thing that the government has done differently this time is actually come and told you why they've gone ahead with playing Pakistan. And that is that, listen, India wants to be seen as a viable sporting international venue, and for that in mind they've decided that, listen, you will have to play Pakistan when it comes to multilateral events. But it does seem a bit awkward, keeping in mind what the stance of the government has been in the recent past.
All right, Nikhil, really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. Shifting gears to another game now, let's turn our attention to the growing menace of online gaming. In a landmark decision that could redefine India's digital entertainment landscape, the Parliament has passed the Promotion and Regulation of Online Gaming Bill 2025. Citing rising concerns over addiction, financial losses, and deceptive practices, the bill aims to crack down on platforms operating outside the legal ambit. This move follows an alarming surge in cases involving young users losing both time and money to unregulated gaming apps. With India's online gaming industry valued at 20,000 crore, a whopping 20,000 crore, the impact of this legislation will be massive for players, parents, and the companies behind these platforms. Tonight on NewsTrack, we will be speaking to the man leading this sweeping reform. But first, here's a closer look at what the bill actually proposes.
A storm is brewing in India's booming online gaming sector. And this time, no amount of grinding, farming, ganking, smurfing, or cheat codes may be enough to save the industry.
The question is whether promotion and regulation of online gaming bill 2025 as passed by Lok Sabha be taken into consideration. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no.
After clearing the Lok Sabha hurdle, the online gaming bill has been passed in the Rajya Sabha. The IT Minister has defended the bill, saying it is pro-citizen and will also help stop money laundering. Not just that, it will save people from falling into debt traps.
करीब 45 करोड़ व्यक्ति 20,000 करोड़ से अधिक रुपए की राशि इस ऑनलाइन मनी गेमिंग में गंवा चुके हैं। आज ये समस्या ड्रग्स की समस्या के समान बन चुकी है। माननीय उपसभापति महोदय, इसीलिए ये कठोर कदम उठाने का निर्णय लिया गया है।
It is a legislation industry voices are calling nothing short of a death knell. The 13-page bill defines an online money game as one played by depositing money with the expectation of monetary or other gains. After President's assent, the bill will effectively outlaw money-based online gaming in India, from rummy apps and poker platforms to fantasy sports and real money skill games. The Promotion and Regulation of Online Gaming Bill 2025 states, no person shall offer, aid, abet, induce or engage in online money games. Licenses will be mandatory with strict penalties for violators. The All India Gaming Federation (AIGF) has written to Home Minister Amit Shah seeking urgent intervention, warning that a blanket ban could devastate the sector. Instead, it has called for progressive regulation. Industry representatives warn the bill could push legitimate gamers into illegal gambling apps and wipe out lakhs of jobs. India's gaming industry is no small player. According to the AIGF, it is valued at 2 lakh crore rupees and employs over 2 lakh people across 400 companies. A ban, it warns, could erase 20,000 crore rupees in annual GST revenues, jeopardize $2.5 billion in foreign investment, and sink 3,000 crore rupees in advertising and tech spends. Endorsements by top cricketers and aggressive marketing have created stratospheric valuations for India's biggest gaming firms. Dream 11 is reportedly valued at $8 billion and Mobile Premier League at $2.5 billion. But supporters of the bill insist real money games exploit vulnerable players, drain family savings, and often serve as a front for betting and gambling. There have been cases of suicides and family disputes linked to gaming losses. The government cites a surge in frauds, teenage addiction, and unregulated cash flows, raising alarms over money laundering and financial security. The bill also warns these games use manipulative design features, addictive algorithms, and promote compulsive behavior, leading to financial ruin. For years, India's gaming industry thrived in a grey zone, exploiting the legal distinction between skill and chance. Many apps claim to be skill-based to avoid gambling restrictions, even as the centre and states tried to clamp down. This new bill seeks to end that ambiguity once and for all.
आज ये समस्या ड्रग्स की समस्या के समान बन चुकी है।
For the government, it is about consumer protection and national interest, but for the industry, it is about survival, jobs, and innovation. What's clear is this: a multi-billion-dollar industry now hangs in the balance, its fate resting on the roll of the legislative dice. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to the special conversation. The Online Gaming Bill 2025 has been passed by the Parliament, and as expected, it has drawn some sharp contradictory reactions. The man who was helming this crucial legislation is right here with us, India's Electronics and IT Minister, Railways Minister and I&B Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw. Thank you for speaking to India today, sir. What is the government's rationale behind this blanket ban? Is it social, moral, or economic?
If you look at the bill, it's promotion and regulation of the online gaming world, right? So there are two aspects of it: promotion as well as regulation. Promotion is for the things which are good for the society, esports, which is emerging as a major competitive sports category, online social games, which are part of our life. All of us play Sudoku, chess, so many things that we play. One part out of this entire universe of online gaming, 2/3 is very good. 1/3, the online money games, that is having a significantly serious impact on the society. People are losing money, families are breaking, so many people are committing suicide, and the way it is spreading, close to 45 crore people are affected by it by now. More than 20,000 crore rupees have been lost in the online money games. From across the country, honorable MPs, honorable MLAs, other public representatives, they have been constantly asking for a very strict action on the online money game, which is almost spreading like drugs in the society. It's a menace, it's something which is very harmful for the society. That's why it was very important to bring a very strict action against the online money games. We have been trying to bring softer regulation over the last 3.5 years, but the problem could not be solved, and that's why this strict action had to be taken. Wherever the choice is between middle class and a segment of the industry, the welfare of the middle class has to be seen.
Mr. Vaishnaw, if the concern is addiction and financial ruin, then why not regulate it, ensure some safeguards?
That option was given, but that didn't work out.
So let's look at, you are intending to protect people. That's the intention behind it. Why not then combine regulation with digital literacy, some kind of parental control?
This problem will have to be solved by a multiple kind of array of solutions. We'll have to look at awareness, we'll have to look at things like parental control, as you said. We'll have to look at teachers teaching the students properly so that the students become aware of these issues, and simultaneously we'll have to take harsh legal actions also. It has to be a combination of things.
And sir, how does this bill then reconcile with what the Supreme Court says, games of skills, and they are not seen as gambling?
Issue is not about what category of games are. Issue is whether online money gaming is harmful for the society or not. And this is very clear that the online money games are harmful for the society.
But sir, if you look at this industry, it is valued at 20,000 crore. It employs lakhs of people. How is the government looking at that aspect of the loss?
Choice is between saving the middle class, saving the young people versus revenue. Then the choice is very clear. We have to save the middle class and we have to save the young people.
When was this decision taken, Mr. Vaishnaw, that you will be going in?
Over last 3.5 years, we have been very deeply engaged with the industry.
And you felt that
it has evolved. It has evolved.
And blanket ban was the only option.
It has evolved because so many things have been tried.
Yes. Mr. Vaishnaw, because the internet is borderless, are you not worried then, some of these platforms can shift their servers outside India, and what is right now legal can go underground?
See, we have enforcement mechanisms by which things which are basically illegal coming from offshore servers are regularly being blocked and actions being taken. So that mechanism will continue to work. What's important is something which is harmful for the society, should it be easily available to our children? Question is our next generation, right? Question is whether that generation will be able to get the right way of growing up rather than getting into the such really harmful impacts of the online money gaming. That's the major question. Should we make it easily available or should we try to control it? Fundamentally, that's the construct. So we are trying to control it so that at least it is not so obviously available and it is not endorsed by celebrities and sports persons, so that that doesn't become a major role model for the youth and students. That is what is, see, the problem is when celebrities endorse such games, then people think that it is okay to play. And once they get into this game, the way the algorithms are designed, initially you'll win smaller amounts, then suddenly there is a big loss. There are people who have lost their entire life savings. Yesterday, one of the journalist friend was saying that his son, who's in 6th standard, he lost 38,000 rupees. So, I mean, this is just one small example. There are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of such examples in the society.
In terms of the role of the states, sir?
States are cooperating. Tamil Nadu itself signed, in fact, they passed a bill recently, and then Karnataka Home Minister said in their assembly that it's a very big menace.
And how do you respond to what the critics are saying, that the bill punishes law-abiding players while doing little to stop black market gambling apps?
It doesn't, the bill doesn't punish the players. Players are victims of this entire thing, and that's why they are not part, there's no liability on the players.
Couple of questions here, sir. In terms of, this was seen as one of the sunrise sectors. It is, of course, a landmark decision that has been taken by the government with the intent of controlling a growing menace of, as you said, addiction. But this was also a fastest growing industry, which was generating a lot of FDI.
Again, I'm saying choice is between segment of a society and harm to the society. What will you do? You'll protect the society first. Will you give more importance to the society and the middle classes, or will you give more importance to a segment of the industry?
So you have made that choice.
Absolutely.
And in the last 3.5 years, I'm sure you have seen multiple cases. Is there some case that disturbed you a lot?
No, there are many. One recent, one couple committed suicide in Rajasthan just recently. Then there are families, one full family committed suicide in Karnataka. Then very recently, a 7 or 8-year-old child committed suicide when he lost money and his mother reprimanded him. So there are hundreds of such cases.
All right. Thank you for speaking to India Today, sir.
Thank you.
And joining me on the show tonight, Lokesh Suji. He is an esports evangelist, director of Esports Federation of India. We also have Badri Narayanan, executive partner at LKS. This is the firm that is handling the online gaming case in the Supreme Court. Let me begin with you, Badri. Does an outright ban risk pushing online gaming into the illegal and unregulated space, making it perhaps even harder to monitor and control?
I think so. I think pushing an absolute ban in a manner which is so sudden, the risk of it going underground, and especially if people feel that they can, as you put it, in borderless internet, the chances of being able to find places, or the proliferation of illegal apps which now will prey on innocent people and take it underground. I think there's a real risk, and it's a big worry for many of us.
But Lokesh, if we look at the intent of the government, Badri, you take this question only. If you look at the intent of the government, it's well-being.
Sure.
The intent is to safeguard, to protect vulnerable sections of the society. The fact is that there are, a kind of addiction which is happening. There are financial losses which people are suffering. So that's also a reality of this online gaming.
See, I think you put it in a way where it's difficult to argue against a point like this. But I'll give another example. I'm sure this issue plagues not only India but other countries. If you take, for example, the UK, they have a UK Gaming Act which regulates online gaming. There's an Internet Gaming Act in the US. Australia has a robust legislative policy on how it is. And you must see how the society also develops over a period of time. Okay. At one point of time, we did not have alcohol because alcohol was prohibited completely. Now we have only 4 states prohibiting alcohol, and we know how some of those things are enforced. So the way you clamp down as society kind of progresses is not by instituting absolute bans, but kind of being able to come up with rational means of being able to regulate this so that people are able to enjoy this in a responsible manner while removing whatever possibilities there could be with respect to these harms that the society perceives from these games. So that's where I would probably want to move towards. So there are many countries that regulate this in a very responsible manner. And there is rich data of more than 100 years in some of these countries. Right from the US Constitution, if you see, you look at the UK Gaming Act, it's been there from 1845 onwards. Now in 2005, they've reformed it. And so the people have used and countries have come up with ways of being able to handle this in a very responsible manner.
Okay, Lokesh, could this bill then end up stifling innovation and investment in India's growing gaming industry, where legitimate companies are creating jobs and also tax revenues?
Yeah, honestly, there is no doubt that when you look at the overall revenues from the gaming market in India, the major chunk of revenues were effectively coming in from all these RMG apps. And but one problem which I specifically see there is that this was also one of the hindrance that the actual video gaming or the esports industry was not able to grow, because as an investor you would always look at high returns and faster returns. And whereas making a video game is just like making a movie. It may, with, let's say, whatever investments you make in making a movie, and similarly, whatever investments you do in making a video game, its success is not guaranteed. Whereas when we look at RMG, obviously, whatever having said in them, the revenues and the profitability starts kicking in from day one. So I think, and that is where, while obviously, and that is also one very important factor to consider, that rest of the world does not consider the RMG revenues as part of the video gaming revenues. Rest of the world considers this under the category of iGaming, and which really impacts the actual video gaming industry. And that is the reason why when we today look at most of the actual video games which our Indian youngsters are playing, they are being developed by multinational companies. We hardly play the games which are being developed in India. So that is, I think this bill will definitely encourage those kind of investments coming into, let's say, the video games and the esports sector. So that clarity has been brought up with this bill, and that's a great thing.
Okay, Lokesh, then what happens to, this sector was also seen as unregulated. Do you think this bill will ensure that it becomes easy to monitor, or will it make it even harder to monitor and control?
See, that's a good question. Very honestly, I think these are good battles to fight for, and this initiative was something which was long due. And obviously, our government took some time to kind of bring in this clarity. But see, I think we should definitely look at this bill from an overall perspective. that it's a good initiative. Challenges will always be there. And as you also rightly said, that it's an open internet, right? It's an open world.
Yes.
So the difficulties would be there. But having said so, while it is technology oriented, there are a lot of technology oriented tools also available wherein all those things can be easily controlled. Now, take for example, this bill also proposes that if you like obviously, I hear a lot just that, all these things will move offshore and, it will lead into another set of, underground kind of activities. But the reality is that for somebody to make a payment, you definitely need a payment gateway. Now, this bill also provisions that if you are enabling as a bank or as a payment gateway provider, if you are enabling these kind of services, then obviously you will equally be penalized. So this means that large, and obviously for you to do an international transaction, obviously the Indian banks, your credit cards, your online UPIs and everything won't work. Now, if you have to, let's say, I'm just looking at an, example that let's say there is some international site who's, let's say, operating and they're, let's say, promoting in India, whichever ways and means and mechanism.
Yeah.
But for some user, that user needs to have that kind of a tool wherein he can make that kind of a payment. And that is where typically, let's say international, you look at, let's say, Stripe or, all these kind of things. And that is Stripe, companies like Stripe are not small time payment gateway providers. They would not get into, illegal thing in a country. So
Okay.
they would eventually also stop.
All
So
right.
there are means and mechanisms wherein all those things can be controlled.
All right, Badri and Lokesh, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Of course, the bill has been passed by the Rajya Sabha, although a massive lobbying which is happening from the other side, from the industry as well. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.